The INVEST guidelines say a high-quality user story must be estimable. But this isn't an exact estimate of days or hours. The estimate is a relative one, relative to the rest of the user stories in the backlog. To facilitate this, sometimes estimates are done in t-shirt sizes, small, medium, large, and extra large. Or the Fibonacci series is popular, which we're using here to do our estimates. The estimate can be in any increment the team selects, even something as simple as the numbers 1 through 5. Now, the effort expended by the team to put a relative estimate on a user story should be minimal, but all team members must agree on the estimate before it is recorded. Now, to give a good estimate, the team must understand the user story. The user story must be small and focused, like US 1 here, save plant results list displayed on the website. As an online user, I want to be able to save or print the results of my search so I can use them to shop for plants. And the acceptance criteria needs to be known and clear. Here we have our acceptance criteria. The customer can save the plant's return by creating a PDF of the detailed plant information that can be printed, or it can be saved to the local system. We have our user test, user document, and fully tested. Now, getting a user story to this point requires negotiation between the team, product owner, and customer. If the user story is not clearly defined or scoped, the team will not be able to estimate the level of effort. And the estimate is important because it's used to determine if the user story can be completed in a single sprint. Once the team has a stable velocity, the user story estimates help them determine which user stories will be pulled in the next sprint. Let's say that our team has a velocity of 7. Here they're looking at the top level user stories. They'll have this one's 2 story points, 1 story point. Well, this one's 8. They won't be able to pull this one in the same sprint because then they would have 11 story points and their velocity is 7. Also, the rule that every team member needs to agree on the estimate almost guarantees discussions that will bring out uncovered assumptions and missing requirements. If the QA team member thinks the story is large, while the GUI team member thinks it's small, there's obviously something one knows or assumes the other is not aware of. More discussion is needed to fully understand the user story. This discussion around estimates brings the entire team to a shared understanding of what is required to complete the user story. Now, when a user story cannot be estimated, it is because the team cannot get their collective head around the entire story. This is normally because the story is too big or has several different features in the same story. In this case, the story should be split into multiple stories. In other cases, the story has too many unknowns requiring research. US 31 here is one of these. The customer can customize their portal homepage. Now, say our team had never done a customized portal before where the user could customize their homepage. This is an unknown for them, so they can't really come up with an estimate. In this case, the story is split into 2 stories. One is a spike to investigate customized portal solutions and come up with a solution, and then the second user story to actually implement it. Now, a user story that is unclear will normally be estimated quite large by the team, like US 49 here. It's estimated at 8 story points. In this case, the user story's value and estimates may be at odds. This user story has a high priority. It's ranked 3rd in the product backlog, but it's so large it does not fit into a sprint because our team's velocity is 7. Even if a user story is high priority, if it can't be pulled into a sprint, it can't be worked. Now, these large user stories probably contain multiple features, which are each at different priorities. We see here we have an acceptance criteria, a whole section for CRM and security and the user portal experience. This user story could clearly be split into at least 3 different user stories, each with a smaller estimate. Splitting a user story into its component features allows each feature to be prioritized individually in the product backlog. Lastly, the team is solely responsible for estimating the level of effort. The product owner says what will be delivered by maintaining and prioritizing the product backlog. But the team says how much effort each product backlog item will take to implement. The E in the INVEST guidelines stands for estimable. The feature or requirement described in the user story and its acceptance criteria must be clearly understood by the team in order for them to give an accurate estimate of effort.